Over the years, video games made into films have gone down about as well as a cold cup of cat piss. Some of them are fucking atrocious, but most of them are harmless throwaway movies that practically have fuck all to do with the source material, mainly because their idea of adaptation is to slap the title of the game on the movie poster and just reference the rest of the medium via character names and or locations, whilst at the same time abandoning the narrative of whatever game is being put through the ringer for the greedy corporate cunts, who, by the way, don't give a shred of a shit about the game's heritage or the potential harm a film adaptation could do to its legacy. They just open their fat fucking mouths expecting them to be filled with fat fucking profit. I should probably mention that I used to play World of Warcraft many years ago, and thank fuck that the movie isn't an exact live action replica of the gameplay. From what I can remember, you approach the quest giver who then instructs you to go and kill 3 of the local horrors that are causing trouble to the establishment. Once completed, you'll be rewarded with a pair of trousers or something that's usually at best only a slight upgrade from the ones you already have. That's okay though, because the game truly doesn't come alive until you move areas. There you'll encounter the exact same guy, except for this time he'll be wearing a fucking hat or something as a token effort by Blizzard to give you the impression that they're trying. But if that wasn't enough variety for you, don't you fucking worry. To switch it up a bit, this time the motherfucker will tell you to go and kill 5 of the local horrors that are causing trouble to the establishment. Thankfully, the writers were smart enough to realise that grinding gameplay couldn't be adapted to the screen, so they decided to write a plot that's basically the result of a drunken one-night stand between Avatar and Vikings. The orc homeworld Draenor is dying. A warlock called Gul'dan has merged the separate orc clans into one army called the Horde. He wields a dark magic known as the Fel, which he intends to use to open the dark portal leading from Draenor to Azeroth, the homeworld of the Alliance. Fuck the Alliance. Once opened, he will then lead a small strike force to capture enough locals to use their souls as fuel to keep the portal open long enough for the entire Horde to pass through and start a new life. The Alliance, fuck the Alliance, embrace this about as much as I embrace contraception, so it's up to Ragnar Lothbrok wearing Stormwind armor, Azeroth's Professor X, Generic's Master, and the Predator's offspring to stop this shit before they all become more extinct than a decent film involving Adam Sandler. I really wanted to like this movie, but unfortunately it's not very good. Don't get me wrong, it possesses great qualities, but they're all cosmetic. The armor and weapons look very refined. The score is beautifully written. Then again, I'd expect nothing less from the man who also composed the music for this relatively popular fantasy drama. The costume and overall design is incredible. Especially on the orcs, you can see why I animated them in standard Horde armor instead of their individual outfits, and for the record, they aren't like the orcs in the Tolkien universe, they are much more three-dimensional. The motion capture is fucking perfect. I honestly haven't seen it done better without the involvement of Andy Serkis. The sound effects are fucking savage. Every time a shield is hit, a strike lands, or a hammer blow is delivered, etc., it sent such a force out of the speakers that was so powerful that at one point it felt like I grew a third bollock. The set design is gorgeous, but there isn't enough of it. You know how in Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies we are taken through a variety of breathtaking scenes as the story progresses? Well, we don't get that here. With Warcraft, we get 3 or 4 different locations that's either a city, a forest, a gorge, or a campsite. All very good looking, yes, but Azeroth has so much more to offer than that. I know this because I've actually visited them, and trust me, you wouldn't believe how amazing some of this shit looks. Despite World of Warcraft being visually inferior to most games, its modest graphics don't shield you from appreciating the architecturally magnificent Silvermoon City, the beautifully bleak Dread Wastes, and the aquatic elegance that is Vashj'ir. Fuck, even the Howling Ford was eye-pleasing in the non-traditional sense, and it would have been awesome for the movie to explore some of this landscape and architecture instead of revisiting the same locations almost as frequently as your mum gets ping-ponged between free clinics. Director Duncan Jones was so focused on making sure that everything looked perfect that he didn't realise the actors had fuck all chemistry and were fighting for the spotlight, and that the movie didn't really go anywhere. The whole fucking thing could have been bashed out within a few minutes via flashback with narration over it instead of taking over 2 hours to explain that the green shit is evil. Despite its lengthy runtime, the editing is fucking appalling. I hope the extended version, if there will be one that is, it's currently unknown at time of writing, makes the film less jittery and smoother, but if I wasn't watching this for review then I would have switched off and waited for the action. Since we are on the subject, the battle scenes and one-on-one combat are disappointingly sparse and not worth the wait. The action between the orcs and humans has been done much better elsewhere in the past. When the orcs fought each other, they looked like a couple of mutated scrotums awkwardly bumping into each other, and the last fight scene, which was a duel between Anduin Lothar and Blackhand, was over faster than a game of Connect 4 involving someone with dyscalculia, and I really don't know why. Travis Fimmel is more than capable of performing excellently in a long fight scene. You only need to watch the opening 5 minutes of Vikings to know that. But here, the duel is built up to be the long-awaited epic conclusion between the Horde and the Alliance, seriously, fuck the Alliance, that we have spent way too fucking long waiting for. But no, he does a slidey thing and then it's over, leaving me shaking my head more intensely than a coked-up chronic masturbator shakes his other head. Warcraft wears the scent of the auteur, a project made by the director, for the director. Don't get me wrong, Duncan Jones is clearly passionate about the source material, but he is his own worst enemy. He has spent ages painting a beautiful picture, but then last minute lazily slapped a piece of shit over it. You can tell there's something beautiful within, but you can't look past the fact that there's a steaming turd occupying the foreground. However, it could have been worse. Uwe Boll asked to direct this film, which in retrospect would be like placing your genitalia on a ticking over chainsaw wielded by a man with Parkinson's disease.